As the future of Australia, youth aged 15 to 24 is a vital investment area for the continued prospering of the nation, but this need is not being met as youth poverty is rising. The youth unemployment rate is double, in some areas over triple, Australia's total unemployment rate. Young people living away from home, studying at university, or who are homeless, among others, are particularly susceptible to poverty. In Australia, 1 in every 6 young people live under the poverty line, while 2 out of 3 studying at university live in poverty. Among half of the estimated 105,000 homeless people in Australia are under the age of 25. This means that the youth homelessness rate is more than 4 times the national homelessness rate. There are multiple reasons for the situation that numerous young people find themselves in, including a lack of opportunity, finances, experience, and support. There is less opportunity for young people to gain employment, work experience, rental housing, and mortgages, creating stoppers in a young individual's chances for progress in their life. Meanwhile, for those that can find employment, the cost of living is rising while youth wages are not. Additionally, social services are receiving less budgetary priority, affecting youth across the board. Public transport costs are increasing, and universities are becoming increasingly corporatized, making it harder for students to gain support and afford rising fees. The minimum cost of living is $621 a fortnight, which is 117.7% of the maximum youth allowance benefits of $527 per fortnight. This means that for those needing to rely upon youth allowance, something has to be cut from their budget. Additionally, this doesn't account for the possibility of saving money, perhaps for a car, a deposit on a house, moving home, or an unexpected emergency requiring a large sum of money.
The argument between the right and the left will demonstrate how one side favours big business as opposed to shared wealth across the nation. Initially, some core beliefs between the two will be discussed that connect 3 key areas: social, economic, and political. Mullally, 2007, explains neoconservatives value equality of freedom, liberty, and individuality, essential to a traditional way of life that's built over a social Darwinist concept: survival belongs to the fittest. To understand this better, one needs to unpack paternalism. Commentary on page 82 suggests paternalism is the contribution of noble acts in order for the deserving poor to gain wealth and stature by way of the marketplace. Secondly, social democrats focus on unity, shared wealth, and socialism. The 3 work together for the betterment of all people through government intervention. For instance, in 2012, Australia's then Gillard government established a super tax known as Minerals Resource Rent Tax, MRRT, aimed at mining magnates whom were seen to hold power over its wealth. This intervention was to redistribute the wealth fairly across the nation, rather than benefits being directed to a select group. Importantly, the redistribution was aimed at a number of items, one being job creation through infrastructure projects. Now, in recent weeks, a report in the Sydney Morning Herald focused attention on the Abbott government's repeal of the MRRT, which shows how they work for the betterment of big business, therefore restoring power to a select group and trusting that productivity and job creation through the marketplace will allow individuals to gain their share. So what does this mean for unemployed youth? One prediction is job prospects within the mining industry. However, the downside might be moving to remote locations away from family and friends. This intention might sound good to the individual, enthused by financial gain. However, isolation and alienation could have detrimental effects, seeing this group thrown further into poverty. Defined by Townsend, 1987, deprivation is going without customary essentials that's observable to all. Therefore, 2 types of deprivation may be experienced. 1. Material, seeing young people learn to manage finances but go without essential items like white goods while establishing a home. and 2, social, would amount for the lack of proximity necessary for close family and friends during such a substantial change in their life.
The youth in Australia are at danger of not being able to find steady, long-term employment after they leave school. Though it seems Australia offers opportunities for the nation, it is becoming clear these opportunities are not extended to the younger generation. According to the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence, employers are hardly offering traineeships and will not invest in a young person to work in their company, especially if they can hire an older person with much more experience. Maguire found young people 16 to 24 were more likely to have low-paying jobs, low hours, and will be unemployed for long periods of time. Because of this, they may suffer poor mental health and physical well-being, and in some cases not be able to afford housing and may result in criminal activity. Zammit goes into further detail about unemployed youth and crime. Living in poor socio-economic standards with very little prospect for employment and education can propel young people into theft and property crime, just as the sole reason of survival while living in poverty. It is apparent that young people need support from not just their families, but the community as well, so they can have a chance of succeeding in normal life. This may seem like a simple task, but at times it can feel like it is unachievable for young people. To get this support, young people need to be included in their community, be connected, and be able to participate. NATSM found youth participation is important to be able to properly socialise and connect within a community, also to be able to receive education. Not being able to participate could mean not having access to a computer or the internet. These are essential tools to be able to participate in education, use social networks, and access information. To some people, it is a matter of opinion whether or not the internet is at the utmost importance and whether or not it should be a priority. In today's society, the internet is everywhere. It is how people connect with one another. It is now the main source to gather information. It is also used for distance education, and people are able to apply for jobs online. Young people who are being excluded from these services due to financial pressure can widen the inequality that they are facing and are at a disadvantage when they access these resources. This inequality can potentially isolate youth and leave them with a sense of being alone and disconnected from their peers and have little self-worth. When young people are willing to participate in education, for many there are financial barriers. These barriers may be the reason as to why they cannot attend school to help them further enrich their future. It was said in an interview with one youth who was struggling with school, paying rent and other bills, trying to find employment, and receiving benefits from the government. They disclosed that it was not possible to live a normal life. They were living hand to mouth at the end of each fortnight. They had less than $20 to get them through to the next fortnight. They stated they needed more money to be able to live, but they couldn't find any work that were willing to take on a uni student. There are benefits that unemployed youth are able to apply for to help them through study or while they are looking for work. It is debatable if these payments are sustainable and keep the younger generation above the poverty line.
Youth allowance is a payment that was established in 1998. Its purpose was to assist young people aged between 16 and 24 who take part in one of three activities: study, work, or training. Today, the payment is to alleviate cost of living expenses. Eligibility needs to be met within 4 criteria: age, living arrangements, activity, and family wealth. So let's consider a hypothetical case study. For a single person living away from home, aged 21 and studying full-time at uni, whose parents live North Queensland earning in excess of $49,000 per annum. For the individual, they would just qualify for the maximum payment of $207 per week, not including rent assistance. However, their rent is $125 per week, and there's still transport, utilities, and a social life to budget for. According to ACOS 2010, the poverty line at 50% is $358 per week, therefore highlighting the substantial disadvantage this young person may experience and show how government needs to undertake financial reviews more readily across time.